Hello, friends. Welcome back to Old Coins News. Today, we're going to explore four amazing Washington quarters: 1973, 1984D, 1991D, and another special coin. On these coins, you'll see Liberty, In God We Trust, E Pluribus Unum, and the iconic portrait of George Washington. So, friends, let's get started with the video. The 1973 Washington Quarter is an interesting piece of American coinage that reflects both the history and the artistic traditions of United States currency. This coin belongs to the long-running Washington Quarter series, which was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of the first U.S. President, George Washington. By 1973, the coin had already been circulating for more than 4 decades and had become one of the most recognizable coins in the United States. The inscriptions seen on the coin, such as Liberty, In God We Trust, and E Pluribus Unum, represent important ideals of the United States and are standard features on many American coins. The phrase E Pluribus Unum, which means out of many, one, symbolizes a unity of the original 13 colonies forming a single nation. The motto In God We Trust reflects a long-standing national motto adopted officially by the United States in the 1950s, though it had appeared on coins even earlier. These inscriptions, combined with the portrait of Washington and the eagle design on the reverse, make the 1973 quarter a powerful symbol of American identity, history, and values. The design of the quarter was created by the American sculptor John Flanagan, whose artwork was selected in 1931 during a design competition organized by the United States Mint. Flanagan based a portrait of Washington on a famous bust sculpted in 1786 by the French artist Jean-Antoine Houdon, which is considered one of the most accurate likenesses of the first president. On the obverse front of the coin, Washington faces left, with the word Liberty displayed prominently above his head. The phrase In God We Trust appears to the left of his portrait, while the year 1973 is located at the bottom of the coin. The reverse side features a powerful heraldic eagle with wings spread wide, clutching arrows in its talons and perched above a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches. Above the eagle appears the inscription United States of America, while the denomination quarter dollar is written below. The phrase E Pluribus Unum appears above the eagle's head, completing the symbolic imagery of strength, unity, and peace. The 1973 Washington Quarter was produced at several minting facilities operated by the United States Mint, including Philadelphia Mint, Denver Mint, and San Francisco Mint. Coins struck in Philadelphia during that period generally did not carry a mint mark, while coins minted in Denver feature a small D mint mark near the date. Meanwhile, proof coins intended for collectors were produced at the San Francisco Mint and carry the S mint mark. Each mint produced coins using slightly different manufacturing techniques depending on whether the coins were intended for circulation or for collectors. Proof coins, for example, were struck with specially polished dies and planchets, giving them a mirror-like finish and sharper detail compared to regular circulation coins. These proof versions are often highly valued by collectors because of their beauty and limited production. One of the most significant historical aspects of the 1973 quarter is its composition. Earlier Washington quarters minted before 1965 were made primarily of 90% silver and 10% copper, but due to rising silver prices and a nationwide coin shortage in the 1960s, the United States government changed the composition of circulating coins. Beginning in 1965, quarters were struck using a copper-nickel clad composition, consisting of outer layers of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. The 1973 quarter therefore belongs to the early generation of clad coinage, representing a major shift in the materials used in American currency. This new composition allowed the government to continue producing coins efficiently without relying on precious metals. Although these coins no longer contain silver, they remain durable and practical for everyday transactions. From a technical perspective, the 1973 Washington quarter has several specific physical characteristics. The coin has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, a thickness of approximately 1.75 millimeters, and a weight of 5.67 grams. It features a reeded edge, which means the edge is covered with a series of small grooves. Reeded edges were originally used on silver and gold coins to prevent people from shaving small amounts of precious metal from the edges, but the design feature continued even after coins were no longer made from precious metals. The reeded edge also helps distinguish the quarter from other coins by touch, making it easy for people to identify the denomination quickly. In terms of mintage, millions of 1973 quarters were produced for circulation. The Philadelphia Mint struck hundreds of millions of coins that year, while the Denver Mint also produced a large number of quarters bearing the D Mint mark. Proof versions from the San Francisco Mint were produced in much smaller quantities specifically for collectors and were often included in official proof sets sold by the United States Mint. Because so many quarters were minted in 1973, most examples found in circulation today are not considered rare. However, collectors still search for coins in excellent condition, especially those graded mint state, MS, or higher by professional grading organizations. Coins that remain uncirculated with sharp details and minimal wear can sometimes be worth more than their face value. Although common in circulation, the 1973 quarter can still attract interest among coin collectors due to potential mint errors and varieties. Errors such as double strikes, off-center strikes, die cracks, clip planches, and double dies occasionally occur during the minting process. These unusual features make the coin unique and can significantly increase its value depending on the severity and rarity of the error. Collectors often examine their coins carefully using magnifying glasses or microscopes to identify such features. A rare and dramatic mint error on a 1973 quarter could potentially be worth many times more than a normal example. Another important aspect of collecting the 1973 Washington quarter involves coin grading, which is a process of evaluating a coin's condition and preservation. Professional grading services such as Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company assess coins using a standardized scale ranging from poor, P1, to mint state, MS70. A heavily worn coin that has circulated for many years might be graded as good, G, or very good, VG, while a coin with minimal wear might receive a grade such as extremely fine, EF, or about uncirculated, AU. Coins that have never circulated and retain their original mint luster are classified as mint state, and the highest quality examples can command premium prices among collectors. Because of the large mintage numbers in 1973, most circulated coins are worth only their face value, but high-grade uncirculated examples can still hold collectible value. The 1973 Washington quarter also represents an interesting period in American history. The 1984 D Washington quarter is a notable example of the long-running Washington quarter series, a cornerstone of U.S. coinage. The quarter-dollar denomination has been central to American commerce since 1796, evolving through numerous designs and compositions over nearly 2 centuries. By 1984, the Washington quarter had firmly established itself as an everyday staple of U.S. currency while also serving as a collectible for numismatists worldwide. This coin embodies both historical tradition and practical utility, reflecting the broader story of American coinage, economy, and national identity. The obverse front of the 1984 D quarter prominently features the portrait of George Washington, the nation's first president and a symbol of leadership and civic virtue. Washington's likeness was originally introduced in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of his birth. The sculptor John Flanagan created the design, inspired by a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, which captured Washington's features with classical dignity. Surrounding the portrait are inscriptions critical to American identity, liberty at the top and the national motto, "In God We Trust," on the left, underscoring the country's enduring values. The date 1984 appears below Washington's portrait, and the small D mint mark to the right signifies that the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, one of the primary United States mint facilities. The reverse back design showcases a traditional American bald eagle, a symbol of strength, freedom, and vigilance. The eagle holds a bundle of arrows in its talons, representing readiness and defense, while an olive branch beneath signifies peace. Above the eagle is the Latin inscription E pluribus unum, which translates to "out of many, one," reflecting the unity of the states within the Federation. Around the coin's edge are the inscriptions United States of America and quarter dollar, clearly indicating the coin's origin and value. This classic eagle design remained the standard reverse for Washington quarters until the introduction of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. The 1984 D quarter was struck using a copper-nickel clad composition, standard for quarters minted after 1965. The coin's construction features an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel, bonded to a pure copper core, replacing the silver composition used in earlier decades. This change, mandated by the Coinage Act of 1965, addressed rising silver prices and shortages of circulating coins. The coin weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and features a reeded edge, a characteristic that helped deter counterfeiting and ensure consistent tactile recognition. The Denver Mint produced millions of 1984 D quarters to meet the demands of commerce across the western United States. These coins were primarily intended for circulation and quickly entered everyday use, appearing in vending machines, parking meters, cash registers, and banks. In addition to circulation coins, the United States Mint also issued proof versions at the San Francisco Mint for collectors. These proof coins feature a mirror-like finish, sharp details, and a small S mint mark. While the 1984 D circulated widely, the proof coins were sold in sets and are particularly sought after for their pristine condition and aesthetic appeal. Although the 1984 D Washington quarter is generally common, it is of interest to collectors due to its mint mark, condition, and occasional minting anomalies. Coins that remain in uncirculated condition, free of wear and scratches, are especially prized, with grading services assigning numerical values such as MS63 to MS70 to indicate quality. Higher grade specimens can command modest premiums in the collector market. Occasionally, coins from this era exhibit minor errors like double dies, off-center strikes, or planchette imperfections, which can significantly increase their numismatic value. Collectors carefully examine each coin for such attributes, as even small variations can distinguish a common coin from a valuable rarity. Historically, the 1984 D quarter exists within the context of an America undergoing social and economic evolution. The early 1980s were a period of recovery from economic challenges, including inflation and energy crises of the previous decade. The quarter, while small in size, symbolizes stability and continuity in the U.S. monetary system during a period of change. It represents a tangible connection to American culture, embodying values such as liberty, faith, and national unity. The portrait of George Washington reinforces a nation's enduring admiration for its founders and the principles on which the United States was established. In terms of collecting trends, Washington quarters from the 1980s, including the 1984 D, are often gathered to complete chronological sets, including all mint marks and years. Collectors value both circulated and uncirculated examples, with special attention given to coins exhibiting exceptional strike quality or eye appeal. Additionally, proof coins with the S mint mark are prized by those aiming to assemble full annual proof sets, making them an integral part of numismatic collections worldwide. With over 8,000 varieties of coins across U.S. history, each coin tells a story, and the 1984 D Washington quarter represents a chapter of modern coinage that links the present to a rich numismatic legacy. The Washington quarter, including the 1984 D, is more than a unit of currency. It is a miniature artifact of American history, artistry, and economic life. It reflects changes in metal usage, design continuity, and the evolving policies of the United States Mint. Each coin carries with it the story of its design, the era of its production, and the countless hands through which it has passed. For historians, collectors, and casual users alike, the 1984 D quarter remains a meaningful and tangible representation of the United States, capturing the nation's spirit of unity, strength, and the enduring legacy of George Washington. The 1991 D Washington quarter represents a modern era of U.S. coinage while also illustrating the impact of circulation and environmental factors on coins. Part of the long-running Washington quarter, which began in 1932, this quarter carries forward the iconic design of George Washington on the obverse and the classic eagle on the reverse. By 1991, the Washington quarter had become one of the most widely used coins in the United States, appearing in pockets, cash registers, vending machines, and public transportation, while simultaneously serving as a collectible item for numismatists. This coin, like many circulated quarters, tells a story not just of design and minting but of wear, handling, and environmental exposure over decades. The obverse of the 1991 D quarter showcases a portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon. Surrounding the portrait are the inscriptions Liberty at the top and the national motto In God We Trust on the left side. The date 1991 appears below, accompanied by the D mint mark to indicate the coin was minted at the Denver Mint. Denver was one of the primary facilities producing circulating quarters for the western United States. The coin is struck in the standard copper-nickel-clad composition introduced after the Coinage Act of 1965, replacing the older silver-based coins and creating a more durable, circulation-friendly coin. It weighs 5.67 grams, has a diameter of 24.3 millimeters, and a reeded edge that has helped coins resist counterfeiting while providing tactile consistency. The reverse of the 1991 D quarter continues a traditional design featuring the American bald eagle with spread wings clutching a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength, and an olive branch for peace. The inscription E Pluribus Unum appears above the eagle, and United States of America and quarter dollar encircle the design, identifying the nation and denomination. This classic eagle reverse remained in circulation on quarters until 1998, just prior to the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999, which replaced the eagle design with state-specific reverses. The 1991 D quarter circulated widely and, over the years, many examples have been exposed to environmental conditions that altered their appearance. A notable case involves quarters exhibiting black damage, often caused by oxidation, chemical exposure, or corrosion from prolonged contact with moisture, acidic surfaces, or other reactive materials. Such coins develop a darkened, sometimes patchy surface that may obscure fine details. While this condition reduces a coin's collector-grade value, it also tells a unique story of circulation and environmental impact. Collectors sometimes study these damaged coins for patterns of wear or environmental interaction, gaining insight into the coin's journey through everyday life. Minting in 1991 occurred during a period when the United States economy was undergoing changes in the early 1990s, including post-Cold War adjustments and the beginning of technological transitions. Coins like the 1991 D quarter were used daily by millions of Americans, becoming an unremarkable part of commerce, yet simultaneously they represented the continuity of a long-standing monetary tradition. While the copper-nickel composition helped ensure durability, blackened or damaged coins reveal that even modern metals are not impervious to environmental stress. From a numismatic perspective, the 1991 D Washington quarter is generally considered common, with a majority of coins worth face value when heavily circulated. However, uncirculated coins or those with unusual characteristics, such as die errors, striking anomalies, or exceptionally minimal wear, can have modest premiums. Black damaged coins, though usually a lower monetary value to collectors, hold historical and educational significance, illustrating the real-world effects of circulation and chemical interaction over decades. Collectors who focus on coin condition and environmental effects may study these coins as part of larger analyses of coin preservation and degradation. Despite its condition, the 1991 D quarter continues to symbolize American history, culture, and monetary stability. The portrait of George Washington evokes the nation's founding principles, while the eagle represents enduring ideals of strength and vigilance. Coins like this serve as a bridge between everyday life and historical continuity, reminding citizens that even ordinary currency reflects a long heritage of design, symbolism, and national identity. In summary, the 1991 D Washington quarter in black damage condition illustrates both the longevity of the Washington quarter series and the real-world effects of circulation on coin surfaces. It tells the story of a coin that, while common in mintage, carries historical significance as a vessel of American symbolism and everyday use. For collectors, historians, and enthusiasts alike, such coins provide a tangible link to the nation's numismatic heritage, a reflection of environmental interactions, and a reminder of the enduring legacy of the United States Mint. Even in imperfect form, this quarter is part of a broader narrative of American history, artistry, and economic life.